How about now? Audio okay? I thought that the thing was going to capture it, but it looks like it wasn't capturing it. Audio good, audio down. I see 2 people in the chat. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I guess the thing wasn't capturing it. Okay, I'll start my narrative all over again, my rambling. I'm a big advocate for brick and mortar shopping. Yeah, I put up affiliate links through Amazon and that from time to time, and I shop at Amazon. But whenever possible, I actually shop real human beings. So I go into Best Buy Canada, because I'm Canadian, and I go into Memory Express because I'm in Calgary. Memory Express is a huge computer store in Canada, especially in the western part of the country, and they're fantastic. So Memory Express had an incredibly good couple days for me. They had this bundle deal here, which I got yesterday. Power supply, motherboard, AMD motherboard, MSI, 7700X CPU, and RAM, and a case that's off camera. All of it was an incredibly good price. I think it was like 800 Canadian dollars for all that. It's like super cheap for Canadians. And then a couple days before that, then they had the 7700X for also an incredibly good price. It was 400 Canadian dollars. For the Americans, that's 300 US dollars. So 800 Canadian plus 400, so we're looking at 1200 for everything but a cooler, realistically, which is crazy. And that's going to be 1200 American, which would be about 1200 Canadian, which would be about 850 American for the whole thing, other than a cooler. I actually don't need the motherboard right now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use this power supply because I actually just a couple of weeks ago bought a motherboard and a power supply from Memory Express, slightly higher watts. So I might use these ones, or I might just pawn these off locally to someone at the cheap low cost. But we'll see. So I'm a huge advocate for brick and mortar. Whenever you can, support brick and mortar because more competition is better. And if we start to lose these stores, we're going to be screwed, and prices are going to fly. So let's do that. We're going to build this system I'm calling the Lucky Number 7 because it has a 7700 XT and it has a 7700X. Lots of 7s. 777, Ryzen 7 7700X, Radeon 7700 XT. Just all of the 7s. All right, so I'm just going to grab the case now. Just step up for a second here. And I'll grab that, and we'll start building. Realistically, I don't like to build stuff when I'm alone. I like to build when other people are around. This case looks pretty cool. It's huge. I don't know how I'm going to get this all on camera. Let me get some of this stuff out of here right now, and I'll bring it back in a moment. This is going to be a really budget, but incredibly powerful system. Not, 4090 level system, but very good for 1440p and even some 4K. But the biggest thing is it's so cheap. It's just like crazy cheap. And it's all brought to you by me spending money at Memory Express. This is not an affiliate thing. I just spent some money there and I decided, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys what you can get there and get some good prices. So everything's still good for the stream. Let's see. We get there. So this is like a brand. It's called like Johnsbow. You see that? Johnsbow. It's a really cool looking case. I actually looked it up when they had this bundle went on. It's kind of big. I'm not usually into huge cases, but it looks pretty impressive. Kind of like a semi-fish tank style. I've got to have to do this off camera. It's too big. You'll hear me shuffling while I get this case out. All right. Case comes out. There we go. Okay, it's not as big as I thought. I was kind of worried it would be huge. And I'm not a big fan of like gigantic cases. So this is actually a good size for me. It's wide. It's a wide boy case. Oh, that's heavy. Impromptu stream. Let's go. Is the audio bad? Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Let me try. I'm going to kill the audio for 1 second. Is the audio okay now? Let me know how the audio is. It was being an irritant before. I'm going to type it just to be sure. Okay, yeah, I think it was because I was going through a dongle. So yeah, anyways, that's what happens when I try to impromptu. So I'm going to try to do this quick, in like an hour. It's a very budget friendly. It's going to be loud for a second. Watch your ears. What can you build for 1,200 Canadian dollars if you go to Memory Express? Apparently an entire system minus a cooler. I already had a cooler that I bought from them. Every single part in the system will be from Memory Express. Most of it's going to be the bundle that I got for cheap, but I think I'm going to swap out a couple parts because I already had them. And I'll leave the power supply in its case, for example, and I'll just sell it to somebody. I did a Rigel? Or Regal, probably Rigel. I did a Temu collab at one point, and they sent me some stuff. It was okay. They gave me just a pick of whatever I wanted, and I just grabbed all like name brand stuff. But to be honest, I spend the vast majority of my money at Memory Express or Best Buy, one of the two in Canada. I do buy a lot on Amazon, but usually the stuff I buy on Amazon is like little things. Ooh, this is glass. But the vast majority of stuff I buy is Memory Express. I just price match. If they have something cheaper somewhere else, I just go there. Basically, yeah. Actually, though, legitimately, PS5 Pro, probably performance level. I guess the CPU will be higher, but I mean, whatever. It's hard to compare stuff like that. But yeah, you're probably actually right. It's a cool looking case. So it's like a weird semi-fish tank with that rounded side. Pretty sexy. Yeah, I looked at some like basic, simple reviews on this online, and it was pretty like ravingly reviewed. So it's called the TK, is that backwards? No, TK3 by Johnsbow. Looks pretty cool though. So 7700X is around, I don't know, 4070, something like that. It's hard to compare. Something like, because a lot of people don't know AMD, it's going to be around a 4070, same amount of VRAM. It'll be around what about last generation? Probably not maybe 3080, something like that. Not a 3080 Ti. Yeah, probably a 3080. Actually, maybe it would be a 30 Ti. 3080 Ti is like a 4070. Yeah, it'd be slightly slower than a 3080 Ti. But it's modern, so it's going to be using less power in that. So it's a nice ass case. It's actually like a really nice case. I'd heard the name like just Johnsbow before, but I'd never used their stuff. It has a lot of support for hard drives, which is nice. Probably won't do absolutely everything on the stream. How do I take this all out? How did they even get that in there? I have to take this whole caddy out? Come on, Johnsbow. More like tech guy Johnsbow. Oh, there's a thing there. That's where it is. It's the ITX cases. I looked at it and I was like, I know this name. And I guess, yeah, people have probably posted it on the Discord, and I was like, that's cool. Okay. Jeez, John's. Okay, so now it's so naked. It's a cool looking case though. Lots of room in the back. I don't mind slightly wider cases. Where are you guys? I don't mind slightly wider cases, but I don't like super tall cases. I usually prefer smaller, like not ITX, but like as small as I can possibly get. But this is like a full size, not MATX, but full size ATX, but relatively small. So I have two motherboards. This is the bundle motherboard, but I don't think I'm going to use it, and I'll tell you why. It's still a really good motherboard. So crap I got. Look at all these goodies. Yeah, so that's the one that I got with the bundle. B650 gaming plus Wi-Fi. Honestly, I've used this motherboard several times. It's a really good budget motherboard, honestly. But I'm a storage master. I usually have tons of NVMe's, and the only negative with B650 boards is they don't support as many NVMe's and SATA at the same time simultaneously. So for me, I can easily exceed that, which is a problem, realistically. And then I run the storage. So this one here is I've used this board before too, MSI Mag, whatever, Tomahawk. And it's going to have 1, 2, 3 NVMe's instead of 2 over there. And then this one here has 4 SATA. I think they have one, I can't remember what the model is, but I think they have one of these that does, I think it has 6, like 4 here and then 2 more over here. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4 NVMe's, and then it would have 6 SATA. But normally I like to have more SATA, like 6 SATA and like 3 NVMe's, but it's fine. I'll just go 4, whatever. I run a lot of SATA, so I'll have 2 hard drives in there and 2 SATA SSDs. That'll be fine. Lots of NVMe storage. It'll be nice. So, I guess we'll use this one for now. For now, feel free to ask. There's not a lot of people probably going to be in the stream because it's so random and it's just kind of something. But yeah, we'll see. Just gonna monitor the stream on my phone because it's being weird for some reason. It keeps dropping out. I don't trust it. Probably like a peak YouTube time. I only stream like super late in the night. I think it's like a peak YouTube time, so probably gonna be bad. 7700X is gonna be fantastic. It's one of the best gaming CPUs if you don't want to go with the X3D stuff. You can get gaming. You can get the X3D stuff and step it up. The 7800X 3D, but I game at 1440p or 4K, and it's not going to make a big difference. It's going to be almost no difference whatsoever, realistically. So for me, this should be fine. Will you be selling the spare motherboard? I do. Yeah, I have RAM and the motherboard. So I'm going to have the motherboard, Isla, that unopened one. I'm probably going to sell that power supply because I already have one that I got from Memory Express like a week ago. The Mag. A1000G, and I have RAM. I think it's right here actually. These are spoken for. Yeah, these are spoken for. Here it is. Let's do. Anyways, yes, I think I have RAM. Regardless, somewhere. That's I think. I think that's the RAM there, the 6000. Yeah, this is the extra stuff. What am I talking about? This is the extra RAM, 6000 Mega Transfers DDR Pro. Blah, blah. And then, because I'm going to be using the stuff that it came with, so they'll basically be the same. So if you needed something, it's yours. Okay, that's good. I mean, we can like pop the RAM in now. I feel like it's easier to put the RAM in now. Usually I put it in late, but then it's like, just get it out of the way. So this is T-Force Team Group, which is like, I shill for Team Group because everything they do is just good and cheaper. If you buy, I mean, I have some Patriot Viper upstairs, 64 gigabytes. I don't think I need that much. It's going to be too much RAM because this is like a budget system. So it kind of kills the whole vibe of the thing if I throw in like crazy amounts of RAM. You got the X, yeah, X670. So I was actually looking at that for a nice white build. The benefit of that, if I'm not wrong, is it has USB 4, which is, for me, a huge upgrade, because none of these motherboards ever have USB 4. It's so stupid. And I have to have USB 4 because for my YouTube, I test USB 4 capable devices. So I always have to have a laptop with USB 4 or Thunderbolt 4, and I never have a desktop that can do that. If I had a desktop with USB 4, honestly, it would make my life so much easier. So I'm gonna be in the US briefly for a little while coming up, and when I'm there, I'm probably gonna grab one off of one of the Discord homies because I'm not gonna take a motherboard with me. That'd be stupid. I'll take like a GPU and a CPU. That's it. Look at that pretty little Team Force, sleek, no RGB. Yeah, the ASRock. I am like a huge advocate for them as well. They make such good stuff, like really, really nice stuff. Look at the storage. Oh, that's a broken NVMe that just randomly imploded, and I've been trying to get. It's under warranty. I've been trying to get Sabrent to freaking replace it. They're like, oh, we don't have any in stock. I don't give a shit. Send me another one. It's under warranty. But that's what happens. That's why I buy brands that have good warranties from now on. So, I had a, God, so much storage. All these like small ass drives, because I was doing a NAS test video, so I had to pick up all these dumbass small drives. Okay. So, I'm going to be, so much stuff. I'm going to be going with, this is 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Is there 2 under there? Jeez, so much storage. Ignoring the bull outlet, what AM5 motherboard is my favorite? This one. This is my favorite. This is my favorite board. Some variant of this. I like Tomahawk. There's the B650 Tomahawk, and there's the X670 Tomahawk. I like MSI as my number one for motherboards, and then ASRock. MSI has really good BIOS, and their boards are just like, I don't know. I've never had problems with MSI. I've had one kind of bad MSI over the years, and the warranty redeem process was super good. Like, I sent it to them, and I got my thing back in like a week and a half. So that's my favorite, the Tomahawk in general. And if you go with Intel, I would recommend the same. If that's not a thing, then actually, yeah, I'd go for ASRock. ASRock makes really good shit. Yeah. Are those all NVMe's? Yes, they are. King Tech. So I had a NAS video, and I have another one coming, and I had to like buy all the storage because it's a NAS that uses NVMe. Most of these are small little things, like little leftovers. Anyway, so I needed all these NAS, so I ordered a bunch, and then like I needed to get the video out, so I actually ended up with like too many, but that's fine. So these are Kioxia 4 terabyte drives. They're actually really nice high-end drives. You can only get these from OEM systems, so I bought some high-end OEM systems, took them out, and like that was part of my like recouping some of my costs because I review them and then I sell them, and I threw in like 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes or whatever. So I could do 3 of these, 1, 2, 3 Kioxia. These are SN820, which are also OEM drives that they put in Alienwares, high-end Alienwares, and these are technically SN850, like the black 850X, the black ones, which I probably have one to show you. Yeah, it's technically that drive, but it's an OEM version. And this is my favorite, the Sotelgem, aka SK Hynix P44 Pro or P44 Platinum, P41 Platinum. I'll probably use these for my operating system because they're like super low latency. But I could go 2, 4, 8. I could do all 4 terabyte drives. What do you guys think? Should I do a 2 terabyte, like the best drive you can get with these 3 in RAID? Or should I don't know, throw in another 4 terabyte for the operating system, something like that, and just do all 4s? My SATAs will also be 4s. What do you guys think? 4s for days. Tell me what you want from me. Take a look and what you see. Yeah, this is a good issue. I went from like no storage and prices are so high recently. Yeah, they'll just be game drives though. You know what? I need to do a 4 terabyte because I need to have my videos on a big drive that's like resilient. I'm going to put in the 820, SN820, which is technically the OEM version of this. Just because I'll use my video editing on this. And then I will RAID these game drives because it doesn't matter. If these are super high-end stuff. These are like server stuff. I actually pulled these from a server. These things are, there's no thing there. These things are meant to just like have the shit kicked out of them realistically. There's no woozoo there. I have one, but I don't know where it is. I'll have to do this. I'll have to do that in NVMe later because I don't know where that thing is. I'm also missing all of them. Damn it. All right. Well, I have like a little baggie of NVMe screws. I'll do them later. Okay, so that's what I'll do. I'll put this in here for that for now. I'll do the other storage later. I don't know where the little thingies go, but they're here somewhere. Yeah, that'll be fine. I will end up losing them if I try to do it now. So I'll just have to install that later. NVMe's for days. CPU cooler. Yeah, so I am going to use the not possible to get anymore Stealth IV, Cooler Master Stealth IV, which are actually, they're not banned in Canada, but they're banned in the US, so I think they just like kind of don't sell them anymore. That's such a bigger market, but I'll bring it in. I am the type of person, I actually like air coolers. Some people don't. Air coolers probably don't, they don't have this much like peak maximum cooling, but, I stepped on this, but they're better passively. So an air cooler, if it's just hanging out, just like a little bit of fan going, it's like silent, like legitimately silent. So I got this Cooler Master probably 3 months ago from Memory Express actually, kind of right before they vanished off the face of the earth. And it's my favorite cooler because it works very well. It has 2 modes. If there's a switch there. How's the switch? What? There it is. There's a switch there. It's got 2 dots and 4 dots. It's like a silent mode versus rage mode. When this thing's on silent mode, it's able to cool like any CPU that I throw at it, realistically, unless it's like a 14900 or something. So it runs nice and cool and nice and quiet. If you're using some beefy thing, you can turn it up to like a higher level. It can get a little noisy if it's just ripping. Like I had this on a 13700 that was not under wattaged, and it could get pretty noisy. But when it's just cooling like AMD stuff, it's fine. Yeah, I don't have to do RAID. What I might actually do is you can do storage spaces that are like extend volume, and it just like makes them into like a larger thing. You probably screw up your data if you lose it, but again, those would be games. So that's that there. Yeah, that's fine. I have a little thingy here somewhere. God, my disk is there. It is. Do I have any SSD things in here? I do not. The SSD stuff's all in my like storage, so I'll do those SSDs later. It's no big deal. The operating system is the one that matters. Extending can take... Extending? Extending. What do you mean extending? I should be doing this horizontally. But, oh, yeah. The drives. Sorry, I thought you meant the motherboard. Also, look at that. Look at that integrated freaking I/O shield. Where are you at, Asus? Suddenly you got quiet in the chat. You got called out. Did you guys watch my last stream? Remember when I did that stream a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever that was? And I was building a system and I had all those issues with the Asus motherboard. Yeah, that died. The next day I couldn't get it to post consistently. It was on and off, on and off, on and off. And yeah, it had that weird CPU issue where it like wasn't detecting my fans, and then it wouldn't post anymore, and so I took it back. And that's a lesson to you for what happens when you buy Asus stuff. I was not willing to deal with that and then like have to warranty it. I was like, this shit's going back in 30 days. Beat by. That's sick, actually. Yeah, Best Buy. I'm gonna be the guy. I'm gonna like come visit you in the US and be that guy who's like, I'm looking for a computer, but it has to have like 47 hours battery life, but also play games on battery. That's actually sick, man. Yeah, I like Best Buy a lot, actually. I was at the beginning of this stream. I was shilling for Memory Express, where I bought all of this, and also Best Buy. So I'll do my intro again because people are showing up. I have an Amazon affiliate account, and I post my little accessories, and I just find them on Amazon, and you guys use them, and it's sweet because it helps me make money and not go bankrupt. However, when possible, shop brick and mortar. That is a command. That is not a request. For me in the Western Canada, for Canadians, that means Memory Express out here. Fantastic. Best Buy Canada. For Eastern Canadians, that means Canada Computers and maybe Memory Express, and also Best Buy. For Americans, you have Best Buy, you have Micro Center, because if we let all the brick and mortar stuff die, first of all, that sucks because you're not going to be able to go into stores anymore. That's going to suck. But also, that means prices are going to go up, so you're screwing yourself. So a lot of these companies have, like Memory Express has price match. So this stuff was already on an incredibly good deal, like insane. This computer's insane value what I'm building here. It's 1,200 Canadian dollars for the whole thing, other than that cooler, which I got for like 60 bucks, which is like 850 American dollars for the whole thing. I price matched this today. I was like, I'm going to get one more storage for somebody else, and I just price matched it. Why would I buy it on Amazon? Right? That's me deep promoting my own channel. Yeah, it's Chris. Yeah, Micro Center's sick. They have really good I mean, we look at Micro Center and we're like, their prices are so good. I think that a lot of that is that it's just Americans. Americans, y'all don't know how much we pay here in Canada. We pay a lot. For like, there's like a, if you exchange the currency, it doesn't really matter. Even if it's like our currency is good, your currency is bad, doesn't matter. We actually pay like a Canada tax. And it's not actually a tax. It's just, we pay more here. Unfortunately. So that's why I beat out these deals. I think this thing has like crazy fans. Yeah. Apparently, I was right. And by I was right, I mean Memory Express advertised properly. These things come with like legit holograph. Holy shit, there's so many. Holy crap. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fans in this thing here, plus the case. Wow, okay. Do I want to install these now? I feel like this is like treasure. I don't even like RGB, but now suddenly I do. Because of this. Probably won't be able to finish this build, by the way, in the stream, because I'm like extremely low blood sugar because I haven't eaten like anything today other than like a milkshake, and I'm all jacked up on caffeine. but I'll do as much as I can. So that's the motherboard in. MSI Tomahawk. It's pretty cool. I like it. And 7700X CPU, which is fantastic. Probably the sweet spot for gaming right now. You don't necessarily need to go any higher for the resolutions that I do. If you're doing 1080p, sure. You may want to. I have PTM. I'm going to add PTM because I always do. The other PTM I have is upstairs. I'll do that after. Did I fix the BIOS in the last? No, man. That computer was a toast. That Asus went back. It wasn't posting my fan. It wasn't checking the fan. And then if you asked, Isla was in the chat. I don't remember why, but we were talking about it at night. And I couldn't get it to post. Like, it would post 1 out of 10 times. And it was like I was trying different RAM and everything. So like something was toast in that system. So I was just like, yeah, fuck it. So I'm not going to do that power supply that came in the kit just because it's not opened. I'll do that in a sec. It's a really good power supply. Let me show you guys as I'm going. And I actually recommend the bundle power supply for like 99% of people. It's a really good power supply. Where the hell did it go? Oh, right here. Jeez. So it's a Be Quiet 12M 850 watt. Really good power supply. I actually almost bought this a few days ago. Just straight up. Really good power supply. Like they didn't put cheap parts in this bundle. That's the impressive part. It's not like they put in like all this compromised crap. The value is insane. But I bought this last week from Memory Express A1000GL. It was a really good price. And this is my personal favorite power supply. Not that I need 1,000 watts, especially because I'm not going to keep this system forever. But someone may eventually want to throw in a 5090, which will take 17,000 watts. So I decided to do this. Really good power supply. And it still fits with the all Memory Express theme because it's from Memory Express. And this one, it can be a little expensive, this power supply. Up to like 250 Canadian. But it was on for like 180 or something on Memory Express, and I had a free game through MSI. I got Star Wars Outlaw, which I already had, so I sold it. Be Quiet can't be sold in the US? What the hell? Or is that Cooler Master? Cooler Master is like straight up banned now. There's no like box of like goodies. Oh yeah, jeez. G14 2022, yeah. Now try the 2024. And then you will be temperaturely castrated. You can no longer procreate because you use the G14. Alright, John's bow. No! I lost one of your things. More like John's no. Oh, you might be right, actually. That might be Cooler Master, though. A King Maniac Tech. Oh, at least I know for sure they are. But you also might be right, I don't know. So anyway, I like this MSI 1000 GL, and you may say, why, Bo? Why? First of all, I shill for MSI because I've had a couple warranty claims, and they are so good. They treat and it's in Canada, so for me, it's easy to just ship it there. I have to ship it overseas, and it's never been a problem. Warranty goes a long way in my books because that shows how they treat their customers. Furthermore, the 1000G has this like kind of, I don't think this is the right, it's your fan thing. What am I doing? The 1000G has this like, it runs really quiet because it's 1,000 watts, but it also has like a legit quiet mode. Let's use these. And that quiet mode is really nice actually. Why was I using those random fan screws? What card you got there? Yeah, so this is called the Lucky Number 7 system, all from Memory Express Canada. Not sponsored, I bought it myself. I actually went in today to buy that NVMe, and I was like, hey guys, I'm going to stream a system. You guys want to watch? And they were like, no. Actually, they were pretty friendly. Deep Cool, yeah, Deep Cool. 7700 XT, which I got for 400 Canadian dollars from Memory Express with a game, with 2 games. So that's insane value. And a 7700X CPU. So it's going to be 7700 XT and a Ryzen 7 7700X CPU, which is in there already. All the 7s. It's like mid-range AF. But it'll be more than enough. I'm going to go for it. I'm actually going from 4K down to 1440p ultra wide because I got this really nice mini LED from Lenovo that I bought. I'm going to do a review on it. It's sick. I'm like, OLEDs are great, but I have a lot of static elements on screen and I stare at the screen a lot. So OLEDs actually will hurt my eyes because it's just like OLED burn to my eyes. So I've decided to try mini LED. I've tried mini LED laptops and they're great. Shiny, but this will be a matte ultra wide. I'm not a fan of ultra wides normally, especially 34-inch ultra wides because they're kind of short. Like this is a, can you see where, yeah, you can see that. That's a 4K 32-inch. So when you get to a 1440p or whatever, 34-inch ultra wide, you lose height. It'll go like that much down in terms of height. So you gain width, but you lose that way. That's why I like 40-inch ultra wides. However, 40-inch ultra wides cost a freaking fortune because they're always like super high level creator stuff, and they're like $2,000. So I was like, meh. I had one before from Lenovo. I did a review on it, but I don't know. I do reviews, so I just get rid of it. This is AMD, all AMD system, 7700X, which is part of a bundle. Peter 2224. Memory Express, which is a company in Canada if you're not Canadian, had a bundle where they had the case, CPU, RAM, motherboard, which is down there, couldn't find it. Motherboard, which is down there, and power supply for 800 Canadian bucks, which for us in Canada is a steal. And the GPU was also a steal, 400 bucks. It might have been a price error, I don't know, but they didn't care. They sold it to me anyways. So, hell yeah, bro. Whole ass system for so cheap. Like you can't. This is like if you bought a pre-built or like got someone to build it, you'd be getting into like, if even a 4060, probably not even. You'd be at like, yeah, you'd be getting like a 4060 / 13400 for this kind of pricing normally. Hard drives. Do we order the hard drives right now? I have a lot of hard drives, but I've taken them out of my other system. Yeah, let's do it. I'll be right back. If I can do it quick, I'll do it. If not, I won't. So many wires. Normally, I shill for fractal cases, specifically the Pop Air, which is like the least impressive case in terms of like being sexy and fancy. You'll watch my last stream, I used it, but it's so functional. However, we're gonna go with a sexy case this time. Yeah, honestly, like people look at Costco and or look at pre-builts and they're like, oh my god, it's so good to buy this, which is, it can be. You can actually get good prices. Actually, if any of you are Canadian, Best Buy Canada today has something direct from Lenovo, a 4070 Ti Legion desktop with a 14900KF for $2,000, which is really good. Yeah, it's a 14th gen, which could get hot and everything, but Lenovo has warranty. It's from Lenovo, and you'll get access to Lenovo warranty, which is like a year. You can add more. So that's another brick and mortar store I promote. Yeah, so check that out too, if you're looking. Yeah, 7800 X3D is technically better, but that's more at 1080p. I'll be at 1440p minimum, 1440p ultra wide. So 1440p ultra wide up to 4K. So for me, it won't make a difference. 7700X is really high. I was looking at like a 7900X, but it's technically not as good in gaming. It's better in productivity. For me, as the mixed boy that I am, I will eventually probably buy back a 7950X, the Ryzen 9, or whatever the next gen one is, if it comes out and it's good. But for now, I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, there's an SSD in there. All right, so let's see how their little caddy thing works. That's why I'm doing this. We'll get a lot of this. I don't think I'm going to get the system finished in this stream, but I'll just chat. And I might like make a little video, like a little quick video about it and be like, look what I built for super cheap. Go shop at Memory Express. I actually am like serious about it. Like I really want you guys to consider shopping brick and mortar stores because it's starting to get to the point now where it's becoming worrying. These stores are vanishing. You're going to lose access to people who know what they're doing, people who are passionate. We're going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to buy anything in stores anymore, and the world is going to be shit. So seriously consider shopping in physical stores. I implore you. I beggeth. What the hell? How does this work? So that goes in there, but I guess one of them goes on this side? I don't get it. But what the heck does it fasten into? It looks like it goes there. right? But there's like zero fastenage. I guess like when I'm done, I can just like set it in there and be like, you see nothing. Yeah, whatever. Weird case. They said it supported 3 hard drives. Where the heck do you put 3 hard drives? Like one's going to go in here, obviously, in a couple seconds. Oh. Like that, which is also kind of weird. It's a weird thing. Like there's only screws for 1. There's nothing up there. This is such a strange thing. That's weird. That's weird. We'll figure it out. 1700 note. Oh, I might have missed something. How about AMD with NVIDIA? You can do that. I actually have a 4070 coming. A little 2 fan, but it's not going to go in this system. It's going to go in like a... So Minis Forum has these like all-in-one little motherboards, ITX motherboards, that also use mobile chips. So it uses a 7940HX, which is very powerful. Very, very powerful. And I'm going to do a little mini ITX with an AMD like mainboard / CPU, whatever. And I'm going to put it in a 4070 system. 4070 is like, it's not great. It's not a great GPU because it's like, it's not that powerful for what it is, but it's very efficient. Very, very efficient. So it's going to be good to have in that system there, specifically because it will be efficient, meaning it's not going to run super hot in a tiny little case. So not that this AMD one either would either, but wait, what the hell did I do? Did I just upside down? I'm so confused by this case. Like that was floating up there like that. But it also can go down there. I guess it's like a multi-option kind of thing. That looks stupid though. I don't like that at all. We're gonna go up here. It's a little quirky compared to like a Fractal case, which is just like everything is straightforward and like where you'd want it to be. Get in there. I say, what setup? Help me, don't worry about performance. Wait, what? I'm confused. Oh, you want to buy a system for $1,700 no tax? $1,700 after tax? I'm confused. Like, what can you buy for $1,700? Yeah, the 4070 is okay. Unazuka. This 7700 XT will give you similar performance though, and it cost me 400 Canadian dollars versus like 700. 4070, like people don't realize it's good, but it doesn't have it doesn't have a lot of memory bus, memory bandwidth, and it only has 12 gigabytes of VRAM. It's good though, like it's good. It's just I would usually recommend it for like small form factor systems. Otherwise, you know, you're going to be. I would recommend the 4070 Super if you're an NVIDIA guy, or 4080. 4070 Super is not a big price increase. Preferably, I would say the 4070 Ti Super, because then you get 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and you're not going to run into issues as quickly. If you can afford it, the 4070 Ti Super is just a better buy, because you get 16 gigabytes of VRAM, more memory bus, more memory bandwidth. If not, I would say 4070 Super over the 4070. But again, it's all pricing, right? It all comes down to pricing. I bought that 4070 Super a couple of days ago, and it was super cheap. It was cheaper than a 4070. So I was like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. NVIDIA doesn't have good value. Yeah, they don't. Straight up. It's true. I actually don't know how this would hook back up, because I can't get the screw. It's such a kind of dumb thing. All right, we're going to worry about that later. I'm going to spend like an hour trying to figure out this stupid storage thing. That's really weird. Like, it doesn't... I'll just explain what's going on here. Like, the screws that would get the rest of it in are kind of weirdly placed. And, yeah, I mean, that thing's just like loose on there. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. All right, like maybe they want it to be like that or something. But then it's too wide, right? So I don't know, I'll figure it out later. Anyways, I'm going to put in 2 hard drives. 2 Western Digital big boys, eventually. Storage is not important right now. And I'm going to put in 2 SATA. Here's one of them. 4 terabyte, and I'm going to have a second one. I'm going to have storage 4 days. Yeah, I'm going to be in here for a little bit longer. Like mid-tier, it's fine. NVIDIA is fine. The problem is you don't get the good value out of it. I have 2 NVIDIA cards that 3 that I would recommend. If you're going for a very small form factor case, like I'm going to be building, tiny little case, minimal everything, you want to keep heat down, the 4070 Super is a good buy. You're not going to be banging out 4K gaming on it because it doesn't have enough VRAM, 12 gigabytes, and you'll run into other issues as well. It's just not super powerful, but it's still good. It's still good. It's still good. Especially at 1440p. If you want to get into 4K gaming, you're going to be buying it at a 4070 Ti Super, because then you get 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Let's put the fans in. And VRAM is good. And of course the 4090. As dumb as that sounds, it's super expensive and it's overpriced AF, but it's the best. The best is the best. At least there's a reason why the 4090 is so freaking expensive. So that thing is going to be holographic, and I want it to be seen, so I'm going to put it in from the other side. You could put them on this side, but I'm going to front them. Front them? I'm going to front face them. These are came with it. This thing came with, what was it, 7 freaking fans. This case is such good value. The GRE is better than the 4070. The GRE is absolutely better than the 4070. Yes, it is. It would be more in line with the 4070 Super, and in some cases 4070 Ti has the VRAM of a 4070 Ti Super, but I wouldn't put it that far. It's not as powerful as the 4070 Ti Super. It's just not. Doesn't make it bad though, especially for the price. 4070 Ti Super is like $1,000 Canadian. So it's all going to come down to pricing and what you play. If you're playing 1440p, I mean, you probably don't need a 4090. Well, I say that, but I've seen how the games are these days. It all depends what you want to play. This card here was horrible value when it came out. Hey, Paul Jones. Mike Jones. The 7700 XT was a horrible value card when it first came out. If you check me, you can fact check me. I was like, don't buy that shit. It was super expensive. I was like, buy the 7800 XT a year ago in the summer. It was super good value. And then this summer, the 7900 GRE was good value from AMD. And the 7700 XT has just never been good value. But when it's $400 with 2 brand new games, one of them is like super high demanding, that's like $350, not even, that'd be $330, $320 Canadian, which is like $240 American for that, once you factor in the games. That's just Space Marines too, not even the like weird Unknown 9, or whatever the hell it's called. I mean, the value proposition was crazy. So I web ordered this, and then I woke up first thing in the morning, I drove to Memory Express, and I was like, I must get my GPU. And I was really excited. It's funny how things can turn on their head. When you look at something, you're like, man, that card sucks. I'll never buy that. And then they put it on a really good price, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm going to buy that. That's incredible. There's no bad cards other than the AMD 7600. There's no bad cards. There's only bad pricing. Other than the AMD 7600. Don't buy that card. It's shit. I had one, and it was horrible. It was a joke. Maybe the XT one, which has more VRAM, if it's like, I don't know, $200 or something. Otherwise, don't buy it. Buy a 4060. Like, actually, buy a 4060. I'm not even joking. The 7600 is a terrible card. I was shocked by how bad it was. Check Discord for the 8700. Oh, you already got it. Check the Discord. Ooh, yeah, Rain. Rain actually just posted one too. I would show you that. Wait, are you Rain? I'm confused now. Wait, what? Did I get a tag here? Did I get a pin? Oh, there you are. I know who you are now. Yeah, it's a really sexy looking motherboard. That'll be my motherboard in the future. And having USB 4 is huge. For me, it's huge. Well, for everybody. Like, it's such a premium. I don't know how much it costs for a USB 4 like to be implemented properly, because I know there's like standards in that. But I mean, just some of these motherboards are so freaking, I put these in wrong, are so freaking expensive. Like, why can't they just give us USB 4? Like, you can get cheap ass laptops with USB 4, like 2 of them. And for me, it's actually kind of a deal breaker, because I can't test USB 4 docks. And they'll give you like USB 2, what is it called? USB 20 gigabyte per second or whatever. And like no freaking enclosures support that. So it's like useless. Give us USB 40 or GTFO. I'm not going to sell this one yet, Peter. I am going to sell it eventually. Because I'm going to move eventually, and I will sell it then. But this one I'm going to use for a while, actually. And then when I'm done, and I'm ready to move, like physically move, I will sell this for a good price. And because it's such a cheap system, like cost-wise, like I said, it cost me about 1,200 Canadian. But then I have to get the cooler, so maybe 1,300. Excuse me, everything in Canadian dollars, which is like so cheap. I'll be able to sell it for cheap, and that's the thing that I like to do. I don't like to sell expensive stuff and rip people off. Coil wine on FX. So Iron Maiden 304 says it's coil wine, common on FX. No, but I've had a card that had it. But I've also had a lot of XFX GPUs. I've had 7800 XT. This one doesn't have any coil wine. I've had 3 7900 XTX from that brand. I have had my 6900 XT during COVID and a 6950 XT, all the same brand because they're cheaper here in Canada. I think that's probably it. I've had some older ones too, but I think that's probably it. And none of them had coil wine. I had coil wine on one GPU. I can't remember, it was an old one. Like a 5000 series, I think. So long ago. I'd say they're no higher than other ones, but I have read a few people complain about them. About FX. So it could just be atomistic fallacy, meaning it happened to me, therefore it happens to thee. That's very common. But it could actually be a problem. You just never know. It's always the vocal minority issue. But there could legitimately be a problem. Like, I'm not going to say I haven't seen it, because I have seen it online. But I personally have not seen it any more than any other GPU. I think for AMD, the only ones that have been like a problem for coil wine is actually like the AMD by AMD, like the OEM boards, which I have. I know the 6000 were pretty bad. I heard the 6000 were pretty bad for coil wine. Oh my god, putting in fans is so tedious and boring. How is there anyone still in here? If you guys have any questions about other stuff, I've been doing a lot of testing of Lunar Lake laptop, the new Lunar Lake from Intel, which is, surprise, surprise, amazing. What else is interesting? I've done some testing of the new AMD stuff. I have more stuff coming, but I'm free to talk about not desktops. I am a desktop guy, but I'm not a desktop YouTuber, so. Could you do a backflip? Physically, yes. In this room, no. I'm also not very good at doing a backflip, but I could. I don't even think I can physically jump in this room. It's so compact. Yeah. So let's go a little further here. I'm just going to put in these fans, and then I'm going to move on with my life, because I don't freaking want to install more fans. It's super boring, especially for you guys. So, I'm not cool. I could do a front flip, probably a lot easier than a back flip. I haven't done a back flip in a very long time, talking like 10 years, so maybe I can't anymore. Okay, so that's that there. Now I'm going to do the fun part of the video for me, because I'm addicted to this next part. If I can find it, I'm looking for my PTM 7950, which has vanished off the face of the earth. It probably fell. I'll be back in 1 second. I'll grab the one that's open. Give me 15 seconds. I'm also planning to do a little bit more streaming occasionally on laptops, like testing them, like I did for the Black Myth Wukong on the 4060 video. That was really fun, actually. Have you guys used PTM 7950? You haven't? Well, that's your first mistake. and you're last. Because you're going to do it now. PTM, this is the Linus crap from Linus Media Group. I also buy this stuff online from eBuy7. In there. I did a whole video on this stuff. I've covered this stuff in so many videos. Handhelds, especially laptops, small devices, it can make a resounding difference. GPUs as well. Using this stuff on your GPU will bring down your GPU temperatures quite a bit, especially if it's a big boy GPU. So this stuff here is a phase change material. It is better than thermal paste. It will bring down your temperatures better. I have noticed recently that it does actually do fairly well in desktops. It's not as like resounding as a laptop. It's not as resounding as a GPU, but on CPU it does still make a big difference, bringing your temperatures down. It starts off as a kind of pad, liquidy type stuff, and then it turns into a hard material and it works better. Do you pay for the laptop? By myself. I buy 95% of the laptops, Peter. Lenovo, Gigabyte has sent me one laptop. I haven't asked them for more yet. And Lenovo sends me stuff sometimes. But the problem with Lenovo is I'm faster than they are. So they'll be like, hey, Bo, do you want to review this laptop? And I'm like, bruh, I already got it in my living room. So I buy it. I buy, yeah, but I'd say about out of 10 laptops, more than 9. Yeah, out of 20 laptops I would review, I would have bought 19 of them. Segueing to my sponsor. The only sponsors I have are you. When you click on my affiliate links and you watch my videos. Literally. Or if you donate. Give me like $1,000 donation in the chat. Don't actually do that, but yeah, so you can see there it goes on like a pad. This is a really bad angle. There's nothing I can do about it. It goes on like a pad, a thermal pad, but it's a liquid. You can watch my video on this. Like I actually tested it. I did a full test, and it's got a picture of me like this, or something stupid like that, and it works. Basically, the point was to see if the Linus stuff works, because I already know if this stuff works. Anyways, so it goes on like a liquid, like a pad, sorry, like a semi-solid. It heats up into a liquid, like a paste. It will fill in all the gaps it needs to, and the extra stuff will be squeezed out. Then it actually turns into like a real solid, like a solid. And it stays like that, and it works as an amazing thermal compound. The negative is you can't reapply it. So once you use it, it's done. Meaning, if I take off this cooler, I have to reapply this stuff, because it doesn't stay in a liquid state, so you'll basically destroy it. If you ever buy a Lenovo Legion laptop, they've been using this stuff for at least 3 years. I put it at 1440p instead of 4K because this camera was being an asshole. It does do 4K 60, but it was being weird when I was setting it up, and I was like, I'm going to just go with 1440p for today. I need to set up, once this desktop is set up, I'm going to turn it also into like a streaming thing, because I'm going to be streaming a lot more. I want to stream more, and I need a static platform to do that. So then I'll be streaming in 4K. But I was a little worried about this laptop also, just like freaking out. It's not a powerful laptop. It's just a random review unit. So I was like, it's going to break. Okay, so that's that there, blah, 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 blah. Cooler is going to go on. Yeah, where's the cooler? Here it is. I'm one of those guys who's like, I like air coolers. And people are like, you're crazy, man. You got to go for the liquid cooling. And that's how everybody talks. And I'm like, nah, bro. Air cooling for the win. And then you say, why, though? I say, because it may not look as clean. I think it looks clean. It may not look as fancy. But it's passively quieter. So when this big hunkin' chunk of metal is on here, it'll just cool my system when it's not doing anything. There's not going to need to be pump noise, fan noise. My radiator's not going to be spinning for no reason. I'm not going to have fans going. So none of these fans like almost turn off. So I like quiet, peace and quiet. And I'm only running a 7700X. And eventually I'll go up to the 7950X. But if you run that in eco mode, if you watch my last stream, I proved this. You run it in eco mode, 105 watt eco mode, meaning you're only pulling 105 watts. You only lose about 5% performance. And you generate like half as much heat. So this thing is like super cool. I actually don't know where the hookups are for that. So that might be another RIP. Hold it over here. I got him. I always worry that I'm less organized than I am, because usually I'm not organized. Yeah, I'm going to stream more game testing and laptop testing. It's just something that it's like interesting, I think, for people to watch versus like this. This is probably not overly interesting. It's probably like, I mean, it's okay, but it's I don't consider this to be super interesting, realistically. It's just, I just like to hang out with people. So I'm like, if I'm going to be building a PC, I might as well just chat with you guys. But I'm going to do more of that like Black Myth Wukong. So when I get, I think when I get my next iGPU system, whenever that'll be, I'm going to do some streaming, like game testing live. You guys can have me test stuff live. We'll just throw games at a system. Lunar Lake or Ryzen AI, whatever. And whenever, of course, when the new NVIDIA comes out, laptops, I'll be all over the tests then. And we'll do tons of streaming, I think, is what I'm going to do once I have the system set up. Yeah, I think it's fun. And I mean, these type building streams, there's not going to be a ton of people in here because it's not that interesting. But that Black Myth Wukong stream was super popular. It was really busy at the time of, and people are still finding it useful because I just don't think there's a lot of tests in that specific game for that specific GPU. So that's my niche, is laptops. So I do a lot of desktop stuff, but I'm not going to be able to cover the content-wise as good as someone like Gamers Nexus. So what's the point? I will test like Intel Arc, more niche stuff, and do extensive game testing. But you know, I'm not like, this is not some novel thing that they're going to be like, oh, you're amazing. Doesn't the 7700X, it does have an iGPU, but it's horrible. It's like I think it's the 710M in these, which is like garbage. It's like, it's worse than like old school Intel iGPU. It's enough for like Windows. Like, it's not like you're not going to be able to run Windows on it, but it's not good at all. I'm going to plug in that CPU pin first because that's the biggest pain in the ass in this whole thing. I think ETA Prime, I don't normally promote his channel because he does a lot of advertising. I'm not a fan of that. But he did test the 780M well enough earlier in the days of the 780M. So, not 780M, 710M. And he showed that it was crap. Which everyone expected, I think. Where the hell is the CPU one here? PCI. That's a CPU. I only have one? Yeah, whatever. It does, this motherboard does accept 2 CPU pins, but I'm only going to do one because it's fine. Yeah, it's like Intel, I don't know if it's that low, but it's like Intel HD graphics or below. It's not even as good as like XE, like the old school XE stuff. It's not even that good. It's below Vega. Is that fine? Do I want 2? I'm only running a 7700X, so I'm just going to do one. I don't even know. Maybe. If I can access the pin in like 3 seconds, I'll do it. If not, then I won't. Okay. Whatever. He was sitting right there. I was more organized than I thought. Sometimes I use my brain and I clean up after myself. Usually I don't. I certainly don't need dual CPU. Not for this system. Not for a 7700X. But who knows? Maybe I'll buy the 9950X 3D Plus Black Platinum Edition and they'll be chasing Intel, so they'll be like, we need 1 million watts. Do I need help with Wukong? I gave up on it, man. I suck so bad at that game. Like, legitimately very bad. Black Myth. Which is funny, because I grew up with very hard games. I was born in the 80s. So, like, arcade Nintendo games that were, like, brutal. And actual arcade games. Those were my norm. But, I don't know, man. There's something about, like, Souls-like games that I'm just so bad at them. I'll play Street Fighter against anybody, those type hard games, but... Yeah, I have social media. I have Twitter, or X, which that's not very popular for me, but I have it, and I do post there. So I have X, it's probably just Tech Guy Bo, or something like that. And I have Instagram, which I also don't use that much, but it's there. And it is Tech Guy Bo. I guess that's all. And then YouTube. That's probably it. I have like a personal stuff, but I mean, like for my channel, yeah, I mean, like X is like kind of popular, I guess, in the tech space, but it's actually more for like big companies. So I use it, but it's more to just like check out stuff. I actually never used X/Twitter ever until about a year ago. I didn't even, like, I had never used it. Then people were like, you should have social media. And I was like, all right, fine. So you probably can't see other than the back of my head. But the hardest part of this is getting this. What the hell? Why is this thing being a pain in the ass? Maybe I clicked it the wrong way. Anyways, yeah, I never had Twitter. I did have Instagram, like personal, but I didn't use it for that. I think they're more for like big companies nowadays, like and personal people, like people to use them personally. But I mean, for like influencers, I don't see Twitter as being like a big, or X or whatever the hell, as being a big platform. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm old. So I primarily focus on YouTube, Discord. YouTube especially, like I'll do updates, just post to the community stuff, because I mean that's where I do my stuff. I might eventually make a website. I had one very briefly, but I was like, it's too much work. Yeah, man, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Peter. Okay, so this CPU is going to be well cooled under this air cooler. Look at that obelisk. I like the sleek look of it. It's going to be so different because this system is going to be like fan, 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 fan. And then I'm just going to have the black obelisk of Doom as a cooler. But for me, I like air coolers. I might actually eventually do a liquid cooler, which is against my moral foundations. I'm like the biggest advocate for liquid cooling, but it'll just look cool because it'll be like such a fan-oriented thing. So I might eventually do it, but for now we're going to go liquid. Air cooler until I get it working. And then eventually I might just pick up a fairly low-cost 3-fan, because it has room for 3 fans up top, and go with that. So we'll see how much airflow. Like normally these cases, so I don't know if I showed, it's a little bit into the stream. This case is really cool. It's got this like curved glass thing, which is sick. Never had one before. So you can see that there. Nice tempered glass, curved glass. So what I'm suspecting is going to happen here is we're going to have three, there's a face right? You're going to have 3 fans coming in. It's going to kind of bounce off that curved glass, and it's going to put air directly into the CPU. Whereas if you have a square style, it's kind of like creating a vortexy thing. These 3, I mean, I can put them in. I don't know, 2 inputs and 1 output, well, whatever. 1 in the back, which I didn't install, so I'm going to have to do that after, I guess. Or I could put 3 on the bottom, which is probably what I'm going to do. So I'm probably going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 3 on the bottom, bringing it up. The GPU is a long boy. Actually, let me get the GPU. I'll show it to you guys. It's a very long GPU. XFX, the primary negative, their stuff runs super cool. But the negative is their GPUs are freaking massive. So let me get the GPU out. It's actually in an eGPU right beside me. I was testing it earlier to make sure it worked. So I had it in this eGPU, and look at how long this thing is. It's like way overkill cooling for a 77. You could probably do a 2-fan, like a small 2-fan. 7900 XTX for, yeah. I posted some deals. I can't say that name. Jim 6. I picked one up for 1050 MSI, and there's the 1099 or 1089 XFX model for Prime Day. I don't know if it's still on sale. But yes, 1100 is a good price for a 7900 XTX. I'd call that where you'd want to buy in, because it's second only to the 4090 in terms of raw raster. It's got 24 gigabytes of VRAM, so VRAM for days more than a 4080. A lot of the times at 1080p at 4080 will outperform a 7900 XTX. At 1440 they're kind of close, and at 4K the 7900 XTX takes off and gets closer to a 4090 actually. So if you're playing high resolution gaming, it's a fantastic GPU. And it can still do ray tracing. People are like, you can't do ray tracing though, but you can. 7900 XTX will do ray tracing on par approximately as a 4070 Ti, which is respectable. Sometimes better because it has more VRAM. So once you hit that 12 gigabytes of VRAM on a 4070 Ti, you're effed. That's why I like the Ti Super, because you're not going to run into that issue, or a 4080, or even better, a 4090. But yeah, you're not going to run into that issue as quickly. So don't cope. This is a 12 gigabyte VRAM card. It cost me $400 minus the game, so probably 320 Canadian dollars. That's like 240 American, 250 American. That is where you should be paying in for a 12 gigabyte card. That's a really good price. Like 450 bucks Canadian, 350 bucks American. That's where I would consider good value for 12 gigabyte cards. 16 gigabytes is significantly more safe for the long term. High resolution, you need it now, but long term, I'd recommend that. And then, I mean, more is better. Like 4090, 7900 XTX is better. The 4080 is already suspect, in my opinion, for 4K gaming, because you're already going to start running into 16 gigabytes. You may think I'm crazy, but I said this before about 12 gigabytes, and I was right. You can ask AirBuddy, and they'll be like, yes, Bo is always right, because he has measured and non-emotional responses, which is the lie. But I am usually right about these things. I'm just grabbing some SATA cables for now. SATA. 1, 2, 3. Somewhere else in this house I have more, but I'm only going to have 4 SATA devices. Usually I run 6. So. You guys can feel free to ask me more questions and I'll give you my edgelord comments. Again, I'm a bit more focused on laptops on my channel, but I do a lot of desktop stuff. I just don't cover it on my channel because Gamers Nexus does it better. And I take a scientific approach to everything I do, and they're better than I am. So why even try? But I claim to be the laptop education king. Oh, I think I missed something. Oh, would you consider optimizing fan curves? I could. On this case, I guess I could, yeah. And yes, it is very tricky. The more fans you add, the more tricky it gets. A lot of the time, adding more fans is bad because you're going to start creating vortexes and turbulence, and you can actually F up your... That is such a short SATA cable. You're going to start effing up your airflow. So you'll create vortexes, like, and then vortexes of hot air, like a fire tornado, a bad fire tornado, not a cool fire tornado. And then your stuff will run hot. Actually, in my previous build, which I don't think I streamed that, I used it for months. I had a 7900 XTX, big boy, and I had too many fans in the system. I had like big intakes. I had stuff here, stuff in the back, and I was creating some type of vortex around here, and the GPU wasn't getting enough air. It was running super hot. So I actually took out some fans. I went 1 intake, 2 intake, exhaust, and I dropped my GPU temperatures by like 10 degrees. These kind of cases where you have air coming in are typically hotter. So I have a Fractal Pop Air. You can watch my last like 3 streams. I built in Fractal Pop Airs because they're 2 big 140 millimeters in the front, exhaust on the back, and you blast air through. Of course, you can use a AIO if needed. You blast air through the system, you cool it out, and it works, and the cold air comes in, hot air comes out. Done. These kind of fish tank ones, you're always going to run into problems where there's no direct airflow into this system. Like these 3 fans are going to blow air in, it's going to curve off that thing, and hopefully it's going to, the bottom one will get into the GPU, these will go into the CPU, and it'll be enough for the system to kind of circulate. The GPU is going to shoot out more air. This is going to kind of block stuff because it's a big obelisk, which is why I might do an air cooler. We'll see. A liquid cooler. We'll see. Then you got to hopefully get the air out of the system. So it can be a huge mess. Yeah. So I may actually have to do a liquid cooler on this style of system because normally if you have a front to back airflow, traditional case, air coolers work nice because you're shooting air from the top right through the CPU at the back. That hot air is out of here. You shoot air in there, goes into the GPU, circles around, most of it comes out. But with these fish tank style, there's just a big, massive vortex of air in here, and it's possible that this air cooler is going to work really bad. So I might actually mess around with it a bit, and if I find this air cooler in this system to be bad, I'll take it out and go liquid cooling. Are you going to use your side fans? I'm going to do this one differently because this is a pain in the ass. So I'm going to do these 3 here to come in this way. I don't know if I showed you, but there's a curved glass on this one. So I suspect I'll get decent curvature, and I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, which I might as well do that now, which I don't normally do, but this is such a long boy GPU. I was going to put this in and show you. The whole story was about this. See how freaking long that case is? That GPU? That fan is like right there. It'll suck some air in there, but the back is going to be starved. These will basically bounce off and go in there. So I think my CPU is going to be fine. I am worried about the GPU. Luckily, it's not a hot GPU. The 7700XT is not a hot GPU. It runs at relatively low watts. I don't expect it's going to be super hot. But if I was going to throw in like a 4080, actually 40 is not that hot, but it can be hot. 7900 XTX, 7900 XT, 4090, last gen, like NVIDIA, like a 3080 or something, I would be a little bit more worried about the GPU temperatures, and these bottom fans would be key. And the reason I'm saying I'm going to do it then, because that seemed counterintuitive, is that I'm not going to be keeping this system forever. I'll be using it for several months. Someone else will get it, and they may want to upgrade down the road, you know, whatever the next gen NVIDIA stuff is. I suspect the next gen NVIDIA is actually going to be hot, unlike this generation. They're actually going to be becoming hotter, because they don't really have much they can do. The nodes haven't changed, so I don't think, you know, there's no revolutionary change to NVIDIA GPUs coming up. So what they're going to do is they're going to put more watts into them, which means they're going to run hotter. So whoever updates their system and decides to go NVIDIA, they're going to run hotter. No idea about AMD, but I would be a bit hesitant, you know, to sell a system that has really bad air to someone, and then they get a Hotboy GPU, and it runs really hot, and they're like, "You suck." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I got lazy." Okay, so we're gonna do the bottom fans. I'm actually curious how many of you guys actually run bottom fans. I don't normally do it, but I feel like on fish tanks, it is actually kind of critical to keep the GPU cooler, because you're going to be getting that direct airflow. But I think I've done it once, like a bottom intake. It's not normally what I do. I also don't normally run RGB. I actually don't like RGB because it's bright and it annoys me, but I can appreciate RGB, so we'll go on RGB. I think once I get this fan in here, I'll kind of take a break, stop the stream, go get some food, and then later I'll finish it up in like maybe a video format, just to kind of see how this thing works and what the performance is, turn it into a little quick video. But I'll show you the system like assembled, other than not having power or anything like that. So that's that there. I think that's going to look pretty cool, right? It's going to be so heavy now. Let's look on camera. That looks pretty cool. So it'll be like right, that's going to just bounce out there, it'll right into the GPU. This is kind of what I think I'm going to do here, yeah. These look like pretty nice fans. Hopefully they're not annoying. I am very sensitive to fan noise, by the way. Like hypersensitive, to the point of being obnoxious. I find fans that are whiny, which is funny because I don't normally notice coil whine, or maybe I just have been lucky. I don't get coil whine on my GPUs, but I am super sensitive against fans on a system like making all these noises. It drives me freaking nuts. So having this many fans, I'm probably going to hate it. But there may be a slight chance that these fans are very quiet. I have a stack of other fans. Hey, it's Ferdinand. Ferdinand is a homie. I have other fans. I have like a bunch of Corsair ones. Corsair? Yeah, Corsair fans. So if these fans are annoying, these Johnsbow, according to online search of one singular resource, they said that these run pretty quiet and they're not annoying. So we'll see. If they do run annoying, I'll swap them out. I may go like non-RGB, put in some Arctic fans, keep them quiet. But this is like an RGB style of case, and when I eventually sell it in a few months down the road, I think the person will appreciate RGB. So, in the spirit of being cool guy, though, I'll probably, if these are annoying, I'll install some Corsair fans, which I'll grab to show you. We shall see. I have this massive stack of fans. I actually bought some really nice NZXT fans that are very, very powerful, but they're also very, very annoying. So I took those out immediately. But I have these, like this is a 140, which I don't think fits anyways. On the top it probably would, but I don't need them. So probably something like that there. Right? If these are annoying, if they're annoying. The value proposition is crazy here. 7 fans, 7 RGB fans in a case like this, like that's already so freaking expensive. So that's pretty sweet. But if it's annoying, I think I have just enough of these to put in like 1, 2, 3, and I have 2 more over there, so I could do probably the whole thing. I might have to pick up one more Corsair, but I think these are going to be quiet based on what I've read. And by what I've read, I mean I've read one single review of them. So, okay, so I'm going to put the GPU in just so you guys can see it and kind of finish off here, and I'll finish this up later. I do appreciate people coming to hang out with me. This isn't some that cool of a stream. I'm not game testing or anything like that, but I'm going to turn this into a video, like I said, and test some. See what you can get for such a low price out of this like very mid-range AMD offering. It cost me like nothing. So yeah, man, it sold out immediately. Oh, you maybe were here earlier. Yeah, this thing sold out like within an hour. The GPU sold out like instantly because it was such a good deal. I had luckily placed a web pickup order, so I went in first thing in the morning. Memory Express, they had it ready, which is weird. Like I opened up the door, walked in, they were like, "Hello, Bo," but they didn't actually say my name. They didn't know who I am. And they were like, "Here's your absurdly cheap GPU that is, frankly, no way Memory Express was making money on it." So I bought some other stuff as well. Incredibly good value on this GPU here, like crazy, actually crazy value. But then this whole bundle here: motherboard, power supply, case with 7 fans, RAM, good T-Force RAM, and a 7700X CPU for 800 Canadian, like tax in. It's crazy. For Americans, that's like $500. What can you buy for $500? One Big Mac these days. Well, that went in really easy. It's like worryingly easy that went in. Look at that. Look at that not coherent system. And we'll bring it back and we'll have a look at it. So I think I might do liquid cooler just for the homies. I think I'm going to do a 3-fan liquid cooler, especially for my video on this. I'll have to buy from Memory Express. That's the only thing, because this whole video is going to be Memory Express. If you guys don't know what Memory Express is, it's a local store in Canada, kind of like if you're American, kind of like your Micro Center. Kind of the same idea. Local Western Canadian retailer, and I highly recommend them. They're great. Shop local, shop brick and mortar stores. We don't want everything going to Amazon. I shop a lot on Amazon. I have affiliate links through Amazon, but I will tell you this now. If you watch one of my YouTube channel, one of my videos, and I have an affiliate link through Amazon, I mean, it's nice. You can use it. It helps me out a lot, actually. But if you can buy it local from a brick and mortar store, do it, rather than shopping through my affiliate links. Why? Because I am making a stance that we need to support brick and mortar stuff, because if they vanish, we are so unbelievably fucked if it's just Amazon. Just imagine that. All PC parts through Amazon. This stuff is going to cost a freaking fortune. There's going to be no competition whatsoever. It's going to cost a fortune. If you have problems, you can't go in and return it. You can't deal with a real associate. You're going to be completely screwed, right? So support your brick and mortar wherever possible. Memory Express, if you're Canadian, price matches anyways. So what does it matter? If something is cheaper somewhere else, go in. They will price match online too. You can buy it and they will send it to you. So you don't have to even go to the physical store. You can do a web order price match and they will confirm the price and they will send it to you. So shop in person wherever possible. If you're Eastern Canadian and you don't have Memory Express, go to Canada Computers or go to Best Buy. Best Buy is expanding too. Best Buy is a physical store. They're American, but there's Best Buy Canada, and they're fantastic. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Albion. It does look pretty cool. I don't know. What do you guys think about that obelisk? Do you like that? I'm weird because I like that. I think that looks sick, right? Let's put it on the side. But I can also see, oh my God, sorry. I can also see the appeal of, imagine this exact thing with a liquid cooler, 2 cables coming off, and then having a 3-fan AIO on the top. I think that would look pretty sick. It's the one rare case where I might go liquid cooling. Oh, so many fingerprints. But that looks pretty sick, though. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Looks pretty cool. This is a sick case. Honestly, it's glass, too. Memory Express probably lost money on this. The poor bastards. And when I'm there, and I'm like, I feel bad because I get such a good price. I'm like, I will buy screen cleaners and compressed air and cables off of them because I'm like, man, you gotta get those margins. But yeah, how does that look? What do you guys think? Yeah, I think an AIO, because that looks cool. That definitely looks cool, the little obelisk at the back. And I prefer an air cooler because it's passive. It doesn't have to run to be cool, whereas the fans, if it's an AIO on top, the fans will be running all the time. It'll drive me nuts, especially because this is probably going to be a countertop GPU or system because it's too big. The fans are going to drive me nuts. They're going to be constantly going, even on a light level, but it will look cool. Oh, I'm not booting Albion. I actually need to go eat. I'm like dying right now. I have so many cable management. The cable management is brutal. I'm gonna turn this into a video. It's a mid-sized case, yeah. The reason why I'm not gonna boot and do this here is I actually want to make a video out of this, like a short little video. So I don't want to do everything because I need some footage for the video. And this is not a good setup for the camera. So that's gonna be that there. But I think it looks pretty cool. But I think a liquid cooler is gonna be cool, eh? If I just do like a 3 fan, I'm gonna do a 3 fan, just vile RGB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 RGB on the back. Just disgusting. Just I can't even look at the computer because it's so bright. It's gonna be on my desk. Every video that I post from now is just gonna be a freaking lights coming, unicorn vomit from the side. But it'll look cool. I think I might do that actually. But I'm gonna get it booted up with this because this is all brand new crap. So I need to make sure it works. So I'm gonna boot it up with this, make sure the system works, get it ready for my video. Then I'll probably pick up a liquid cooler. I'll have to pop in the Memory Express, grab a liquid cooler, and then I will slap the system together. So yeah, that's that there. That's the system. There will be a video showing this incredibly cheap system. I got all these parts from Memory Express. 7700 XT AMD, 12 gigabyte. Mid-range card, normally way overpriced, but it was $400 with $120 worth of games. This is all Canadian dollars, by the way, so that's crazy. This whole kind of bundle here, minus the cooler. So I had 2 sticks of RAM, good RAM too. 600 megahertz, mega transfers with CL30. Motherboard, which I'm not using that motherboard, because I already had one that I bought from Memory Express last week. B650 gaming plus Wi-Fi came with it. It also came with a cooler, a very good cooler, but again, I already bought a cooler. So Pure Power 12M. This is one of the best coolers you can get on the market. Be quiet. We're nice and quiet. ATX 12 volt support, so for NVIDIA homies. Came with it. This case, which is crazy, really nice, and has 7 fans. And the 7700X CPU, which is under there, for 800 Canadian dollars, crazy. I mean, I don't like Canada computers as much, to be honest. But that doesn't matter. Support local brick and mortar when you can. In the East Coast, Eastern Canada, I'm in Alberta, and then BC as well. Go to Memory Express and go to Best Buy. 2 options. In the eastern parts of Canada, there's Best Buy and Canada Computers. Yeah, you get 7 of these fans too, and they're good. Apparently, these are really nice fans. RGB, and apparently they run quiet. I haven't tested them, but apparently they run quiet. It's a nice ass case. So there you go. This whole system cost me, excluding the cooler, because I already had that. The whole thing would have cost $1,200. You can swap the motherboard, same shit. You can swap the power supply. It's the same price. Doesn't matter. But the whole thing cost me $1,200 Canadian. The only part that wasn't included is the GPU, obviously, which I put into the bundle. So $1,200 for everything. The cooler I bought from Memory Express 2 months ago, it was about $80. So it would be a about $1,300 Canadian for the system, which is about 950 American dollars for the whole thing. And I'm going to swap the cooler for something the same price. So imagine $950 for a truly 1440 capable machine and some 4K, as long as you're okay with like 60 FPS. Solus Corporation. Well, if you're gonna shop from the Solus Corporation, use my Amazon affiliate links at least. Then I will at least get paid for it. So that's that. All right, so I'm gonna have a video. Thanks for popping in. I mean, it's nice for me to build when there's people around. Otherwise, it's super boring. And like I go into a state of like weird hypnosis when I'm doing streaming, and it's nice. It kind of passes the time. But I'm gonna do a follow-up video on this, a short little video showing how it performs. I will swap out the air cooler, I think, because I think liquid cooling will look sick. So yeah, thanks for joining, guys.